So, Jimmy Dore is wrong. Thought I would make a video about that. Usually, I've said in the past when I think Jimmy Dore is wrong, turns out Jimmy Dore is right. But I think in this case, he is actually wrong. So, let's talk about it. So, Jimmy Dore has said that the issue, essentially, in America today is not left versus right. It is basically up versus down, or it is a class-based issue. So the reason that this is wrong is because left and right is all about class. So the left is the people on the left are the people who are on the side of the people at the bottom. These are the people who believe in democracy. And the people on the right are the people that believe in the powers that be, the people who have all the money. So this has always been the case. The left-right divide comes from the French Revolution. So during the French Revolution, when the king called the parliament, the people that were supportive of the king sat on the right, and the people who were critical of the king sat on the left. So the people on the left at that time were essentially liberals. Now, the liberals, of course, are not leftists, but they were left in the context of the time. So proper right-wingers, of course, believe in monarchy. The right wing in this country is not really right-wing in the sense that, well, I shouldn't say that. They're not really conservative in the sense that they don't believe in bringing back the king for the most part. But they are all on the right of the spectrum. So this is Biden and Bernie Sanders and, George W. Bush and Ronald Reagan. All these people essentially believe in the same thing, which is a free market system run by a sham democracy, which is an oligarchy, right? Ruled by the few, by an elite. And the people that stand against them on the other side are the people that believe in democracy. So I think it's important that we keep these ideas straight, because otherwise we are confused about what side we are on and what we're trying to accomplish. In this country especially, a lot of political ideas get mixed into this. And since the whole polity is essentially liberals, everything comes down to sort of policy differences, right? Whether you like guns or don't like guns or whatever. But I mean, some of these issues are just complete bullshit. But essentially, it's a disagreement between what you might call, well, at this point, it's sort of between national liberals and, I don't even know what to call the Republic. I mean, the Republicans are national liberals too, sort of like other far right liberals. We don't even really have a progressive liberal party. There is sort of a progressive liberal wing of the Democratic Party of sorts. It obviously is not led by anyone of any importance. It's led by fake leaders like Bernie Sanders, who pretend to stand for something that they don't actually stand for. But again, the main point of this video is just that it is left versus right, and we need to sort of focus on that. Now, Jimmy Dore is correct when he says we need to appeal to the foot soldiers of the right, whether they're literal right-wingers or theoretical right-wingers like we have in this country. Or I should say conservatives. Again, terminology gets confusing in America because they have purposely mucked up all the terms so that it makes it harder for there to be a political dialogue and to make things express and explicit. But it is a question of the people at the bottom versus the people at the top. This is quintessential leftist thinking, right? The leftists believe the people at the bottom are perfectly capable of running the society and should be allowed to do so. The people on the right think that the people at the bottom are a bunch of fucking idiots and can't run their own lives. And so once you realize this, it becomes quite clear that Joe Biden and AOC and even Bernie Sanders, all these phony progressives, are not leftists. They're not leftists because they don't believe people can run their own lives. That's the essence of it. Now, Jimmy Dore. What Jimmy Dore says when Jimmy Dore says this, I'm not sure whether he's being tactical or if he doesn't really understand. In some ways, it doesn't matter too much. Jimmy Dore is not a political leader. He is he's like a shouter. He is drawing attention to problems and causing people to take action, which is a very, very useful thing. There are not too many people who do the things that Jimmy Dore does, and very few people do them as well. Glenn Greenwald is another, Matt Taibbi to some extent. There are a number of people, but the point is, he is correct in saying the people at the bottom need to get together. The people on the bottom who have right-wing ideas need to shake these ideas off. And you can't go to them, as Jimmy says, you can't go to them and say, you guys are dumb, even though maybe some of their ideas are dumb. You just have to try and convince them of the correctness of your perspective and show them where their perspective is the same as yours. This is essentially what Trump did from the other side, right? Trump comes in as a right-winger, essentially, a populist, saying, I am going to save you, I am the great leader, and I am listening to you, I understand your problems, and I am going to solve your problems. And that's why people voted for him, for the most part. And it's essentially the same thing that Bernie did. Bernie was more of a leftist in this case than Trump, because he appealed more to sort of general left ideas, right? Which is egalitarianism and anti-racism and even his particular brand of economic populism, which is different than Trump's. But you have to get all the people at the bottom more or less on your team. And that's how you win. Because the only reason that the liberals have power and the right has power is because people listen to them. Because they themselves can do nothing. There's too few of them. And that's why it's imperative for them to keep everybody confused so that they can control at least a portion of the populace and maintain their power. All right, well, I think that's all I'm going to say for now. We'll see how this looks.